Welcome to Outtakes. I'm Lori Baker. As part of the Outtakes 2017 Daytime Emmy Awards interview series, here is Crystal Chappell, creator, producer, and actress in Venice the Series, which is nominated for Outstanding Digital Daytime Drama Series. Listen to her tell us all about it. So congratulations for Venice being nominated for Outstanding Digital Daytime Drama Series. It seems every year they change the title of this category, but congratulations.
That's true, actually. I didn't really think about that, but yes.
Yeah. Well, if Venice wins, this will be the third Daytime Emmy Award that the series has gotten. Did you ever really anticipate that the show would that this would happen when you first started doing the series?
Oh, not at all. No, I mean, it's always nice to be recognized, but you certainly don't go into a project with that in mind, And, yeah, I mean, when I started looking to produce this, and because I'm dealing with union stuff constantly, but I needed to find a new media contract, and they didn't even have contracts at that point for the actors. So I used a student film contract. So everything is, I mean, the way things have evolved just since 2009 is pretty amazing. And so I mean, regardless of what it says on the Emmy, it's still really, really nice. It could be, best show that starts with a V, I'd be happy.
How do you think the medium of, web series, digital series has changed since 2009?
Well, I think that you're seeing better production value because people care, but also because of, just better equipment, better cameras, and it's sort of being made to help keep costs down and give you good quality at the same time, the digital space. So that's probably the main thing. And it's certainly more common now. This younger generation is finding entertainment through their phone primarily, and anything that you can make to accommodate that small little device is more likely to be seen than somewhere else. So I think it's just grown leaps and bounds since I started in this space.
What inspired you to begin this series of Venice back in 2009?
The end of Guiding Light. And the story, the Otalia storyline that I was in, and just the response that it got, and it was nothing that I had ever encountered before, really, in my career, and because of social media emerging and YouTube and everything else, you could really get a sense of the fervor, and that's, it's hard to turn your back on, and I really felt it was important. There was an important message. It was beyond entertainment. The message was to continue that storyline in some form to represent a community that was underrepresented, not just a community, women. So it just sort of spoke to me. It needed to be told, and the fans got behind it. So it made my decision very easy to create the show, and here we are.
Yeah, well, the show has been, going on its fifth season now, and it has been pretty successful. What kind of response would you say you've received from the community, the LGBT community, the females, for this, which was sort of a groundbreaking series from the beginning?
Well, thank you. I mean, it's been enormously positive and supportive. It's still, going into this last season, because I had to change the business model on the show, and this was my first fundraiser, crowdsourcing that I've ever done, and wasn't quite sure what would happen, but I knew how much things cost having done this for so many years. So it was pretty astonishing to see how people showed up and supported the show, and they've gotten this season produced. It's really totally been supported by this fan base. So it's just been an extraordinary, unbelievable experience this season, and I think that speaks to other people's passions and what they want to see, and how far they're willing to go to support it.
Would you say also that the whole Guiding Light fan base that loved Olivia and Natalia, they've followed you and have kept up with Venice for all these seasons as well?
Yes, there are many that have. Who've come from Guiding Light and Natalia, and then we've had new people find us along the way. So it's really quite a mixed group of supporters.
Yeah, well, especially I think from the soap opera fans, because you also have your mix of a lot of Nadia Bjorlin, Galen Gehring, Hilary B. Smith, all these different soaps. There's seems to be something for everyone that draws them to the series if you love your soap operas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, how did you go about when you go about to submit a digital series for the daytime Emmys? What did you pick and why? I mean, how do you go about it? Is there a certain episode you submit, or?
Yeah, I mean, they asked for 2 episodes, and again, you talk about the name of the category changing over the last several years. They're adding more categories for actors. And I've been out of sort of the system for a little while. I haven't produced Venice in a couple of years, and so you really have to read up on what's new because there's always something new. But we had 4 episodes that we aired in 2016, and it was pretty easy to see which ones. I knew which ones that I would submit. I thought it would just be 1 episode, but they wanted 2, which is great. And so we ended up submitting episode 3 and 4. Episode 3 is got a lot of Hilary and Joel Brooks and Galen Gehring, and I think it's very humorful and but still with some really wonderful performances with Wes Ramsey and then episode 4 was a lot of Gina and Annie and sweet and romantic and I mean I sort of went with the 2 episodes that I thought were more solid in its production value and had a little bit of comedy and a little bit of drama or romance and something that represented the show well to me.
The actual ceremony, is it actually for the digital series, this would be at the Daytime Creative Arts Emmy Awards?
Yes.
Yeah, on Friday.
Yes.
Are you going to be attending the ceremony?
Yeah, I'll be there with some of my team. My writer, Lindsay Harrison, who it just so happens also wrote Tainted Dreams, so she's a double nominee. So either way, if one of us wins, we'll be very happy for her. And Lindsay's also a very good friend of mine. And Katie McLean, who directed some of the first 4 episodes, and her husband, John Lindstrom, will be there. And then I have my marketing PR person, Carol Lowe, who will be there.
So this time, just now, we've got the second half of season 5 that's available to watch. Is there anything you can tell the fans about what to expect in these shows that are airing now?
5 more episodes. We released 5 on last Friday. Episode 6 will air on this Friday. And we'll release the remaining episodes every Friday to follow. This is tying up a lot of storylines that I've written over the last several seasons, and it takes the show in a whole new direction as we move forward. And so you're going to see a lot of answers to questions that started in the first season. You're going to see relationships land where they're supposed to, which is very vague, but I like the way this season ends. I like this season a lot. I think it's going to be very satisfying for those people who started from the beginning and have stayed with it all the way through. Lots of romance, mysteries solved, and answers to questions that have been sort of hanging out there for a while.
Well, for people, just learning about the series of Venice, they can subscribe to it on VeniceTheSeries.com. Also, are all the previous seasons still available to watch if they subscribe?
You can go to YouTube and look us up, Venice the Series, and you'll find seasons 1 and 2 for free. And you can enjoy that. And if you want more, you can go to Vimeo, again, Venice the Series, and purchase seasons 3, 4, and 5.
And not only, did you create and produce the series, but you're also, of course, acting in it as the role of Gina. How much of it is a challenge is it to act in the series, as well as being so involved with it behind the scenes?
Very challenging at first, and what I've had to learn over time is to take my production as far as I can, and then I hire good people to take it from there. And it usually happens, the week before. But I've already been working on story and character. I rewrite the script. I'm constantly looking at it. So, but once I get to set, I have the best team, so I can just sort of sit back and make some executive decisions where I need to be. But at that point, you hope that everything is mostly organized, and this last go around, this whole season has been pretty seamless. So I can kind of sit back and just do my work as an actor. What was interesting is that I ended up directing myself. So I would come in and set the scene, and set the stage, and my first AD would create the action, movement, and I had a moment with Jessica Lucia where we're at the end of the scene, and I'm waiting to hear cut because that's what I'm used to doing, and I realized, I have to yell cut because I'm the director. So, it gets a little tricky, but I actually really enjoyed it, and it was kind of fun to see some stuff. I think it's in episode 7 that I directed and directed myself, and I went, that worked. So I can do this. Mm-hmm. So, it really is just over this amount of time, I've learned how to balance my energy and focus. And, some days are better than others, but it's just practice. It's practice, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it.
What do you enjoy the most about the character of Gina?
I appreciate her sarcasm. I appreciate her ability to, at this point, look at herself for who she is, which is a pretty, kick-ass, strong woman who is terrified to be vulnerable, and is finally letting herself be loved and to love in return in kind. And I like that in characters. I like that in people, who can who never stop growing and evolving, and that's a lot of, again, what you'll see in this 5th season. I use my air quotes for when I call it the final season, but it's certainly the final season in terms of the way the show is structured, and tying up all these storylines that have been going on for 7 years. So, and then we turn it into something else. But yeah, all of these characters had a journey, and they evolve. And I think that's the idea of stuckness is terrifying to me. So when people watch the show, I want them to feel like things are moving forward, that not everything has to be tied up. It's not all tied up in a pretty bow, you know what I'm saying? But it grows and it evolves, and people move forward. And I think that's what I like most about Gina. Everybody's moving forward.
Do you have like a favorite storyline or scene from Venice that you've done, as Gina, that you're just particularly proud of?
I think some of the harder scenes for me were in the first season, when she was so cold to Annie, trying to find her vulnerability in that and trying to understand it. But it certainly took us to season 2, which I think was one of my favorites, because her father had a stroke, and she had to go in and work with him, and they had such a contemptuous relationship that there was a sort of a small bridge that was gapped. I think those are some of my favorite scenes with Jordan Clark, and really any scenes with Jessica. It's just so easy. It always has been, from the day that we started working together on Guiding Light. And of course, Hillary Smith is a very dear friend of mine. And we're just ridiculously silly together. And you'll see a lot of that in episode 6, in fact, on Friday. And it's all memorable to me in terms of how it feels, So I love working with Galen. He's, again, just somebody that I adore, and I love that brother-sister relationship. It's so easy to work with him. I don't have one particular scene. It's just been such a wonderful journey. And I've been very lucky and fortunate to have such great friends, honestly, to come back every year. I mean, if you really stop to think about it, there have been some changes along the way in terms of cast, but boy, a lot of these people have been doing this with me for 7 years. It's like, if that ain't friendship, I don't know what is.
Well, it's so interesting too, and great that talking about Jessica Lucia, that you two had an amazing fan base, as Olivia, Natalia, and Guy Light, and this amazing fan base is Gina and Annie on Venice. What is it about this pairing between you and Jessica? It's either characters that you think the fans love so much.
I can only speak about really what I love about it, and I imagine it's what translates to the fans, and that is there's such a genuine respect for each other as women. First of all, I think regardless of whether you're gay or you're straight or whatever, when you see two characters on screen who have a genuine respect for each other, it comes from the actors, and I really think that lends a huge amount of authenticity to anything that these two characters do. And certainly, we love each other, and I think it's just very genuine, what people see. And, we're playing characters who are in love with each other and want to be with each other. And I think it's all there. It's very genuine. What I got from fans years ago was that it was a more realistic representation of their actual lives, and their what they face, their joy, their sorrow, and it's not a common thing, from what I understand. You don't see the happily ever after between two women in love. We have the amazing Fosters, and that there's not a lot out there on broadcast or cable that you can easily tune in and see a happily together lesbian couple.
Well, so besides Venice, are there any other projects that you are working on that you're at liberty to tell us about?
We are moving in. A Million Happy Nows is doing the film festival circuit, so I just will be going to Toronto on June 3rd, and there'll be some other festivals throughout the year. So we're doing that, and I've already started working with my writer for season 6 of Venice, which is going to be shot in New Orleans in spring of 18.
Wow, fun.
Yeah, and we've been kicking around story, and I'm really excited about it, and spoken to some of the cast, and it's going to be fun. Congratulations
and good luck with your nomination for Venice, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
My pleasure. It was lovely, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The Daytime Emmy ceremony will take place on April 30th at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium in Los Angeles. If you missed my previous interviews, I talked with Vincent Irizarry and Kate Manzi from Days of Our Lives, Stacey Hyjuk and Gina Tognoni from The Young and the Restless, and Chad Duell and Taquan Richmond from General Hospital. All of these interviews can be found on the website outtakesinterviews.com. Keep up with all future shows on my social media. I'm on Twitter as far as Outtakes, on Facebook as Outtakes Interviews, and I just recently started posting on Instagram as Outtakes Interviews as well. So, see you at the Daytime Emmys.